Yes, people, welcome back to the Combat Council. Today I am joined by your regulars Luke and Craig, and it was a pretty eventful UFC last night. UFC 328 took place, and a really big shocker. I don't think any of us expected to, witness and Khamzat Chimaev. Sean Strickland beats Khamzat Chimaev by split decision and regains his middleweight championship. I was shocked, Luke and Craig. I don't know about you guys, but I was really shocked. I didn't expect this fight to go the way it did. I expected something really similar to when DDP, lost to Chimaev, and it was nothing like that. So, Luke, Craig, one of you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I go on. I think it's probably one of the most surprised I've ever been at a fight. I think what were the odds? Was it 5-1 for Strickland, 4-1? I just gave him absolutely zero chance. I thought Khamzat was just going to ragdoll him, but he was great on the night. He performed really well. His defense of the takedowns and the body locks were fantastic. On the feet, he was very smart. He was getting that jab going. I think his jab's one of the best in the UFC. I think Khamzat just couldn't do what he wanted to do with him. And fair play to Strickland. He was a better man on the night, and he's won. And yeah, that's all there really is to say about it. Go on, Craig.
Yeah, honestly, I could not believe what I was watching, lads. Like Luke said, I think that's one of the most shocked I've ever been watching a fight. I mean, it's just because we've seen him so dominant, and then after that first round, obviously it was what was like 4 minutes 50 seconds of control time. I was thinking, right, this is going to be another DDP performance. But then in the second round, oh my god, I couldn't believe what I was watching.
I think he blew his load, didn't he, in the first round? He really went for it. I think Strickland did a good job, even though he got taken down. He did a good job of not getting pinned down or in a really bad position till right at the end. I think he was doing very good at getting back to his knees and getting back to his feet. And I think that was really tiring Khamzat out. And you saw in the second round, his load had absolutely gone. He was usually so explosive with the takedowns and shoots from so far away. And he was just so much slower and more tired. And although I think he got his cardio back towards the end of the fight, I think those middle two rounds, 2 and 3, he just didn't have the energy to get his takedowns, and on the feet, Strickland's he's just the better striker. And
I mean, the main difference I've seen between this fight and the DDP fight was DDP allowed him to do what Hamza wanted to do. Like DDP didn't really make any advancements at all in them positions. Strickland all fight, even the first one where he did get dominated, he was still trying to make things happen, still trying to get strikes in. Whereas DDP just basically accepted that loss since the first round. So that was the main difference I noticed, and I think pretty much we all thought that was going to happen anyways. Like Strickland wasn't just going to accept, getting dominated.
He's a better
Whereas a
wrestler.
guy like DDP did, yeah. But again, stars make fight, and I think after the first round, the second round was the round that shocked me the most. I don't know what happened. What was it, like 2 minutes into the round? DDP just went down in God. I'm like, bro, why are you pulling God in the middle of the round? That was the moment the fight changed. And we were like,
pulled guard, yeah.
Hamza pulled God, yeah. And that was the exact moment the fight changed. And we were like, okay, if he's already gassed out and there's still 3, 4, and 5 rounds to go, what's gonna happen? First time we've seen Hamza on his back in the UFC, I think, or one of the pretty rare times we've seen him.
Well, I think DDP had him down for about maybe 10, 20 seconds.
Was that in the last round when he got him in submission? Was it? I think it was.
Yeah, he was on top for about 10, 20 seconds maybe.
But I think, as I was saying about Strickland, he showed a level of respect and a level of intelligence in terms of acknowledging Khamzat has the takedown threat. He didn't throw any teeps to the body apart from a couple towards the end of the round. So obviously Khamzat couldn't catch him. He wasn't throwing many kicks at all. He just kept the boxing. So he was smart. Then when he had to grapple, he had the confidence to grapple and wrestle against Khamzat. He wasn't afraid of it. I think that's what won him the fight.
I mean, I will say that I think Strickland won that fight 3-2. I scored it 3-2 Strickland, but I think he could have made it a lot clearer in terms of striking a little bit more, throwing more jabs, throwing more right hands. He was very hesitant, and obviously it turned out to work for him because he won the fight. But I think he could have made it a lot clearer. But he was worried about the takedown, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, the issue is if he got in his face and started throwing combos and got in close, Khamzat would have probably just ducked under and got a takedown. So he had to really just pick him off he had to be more of a sniper, didn't he, with the jab? He couldn't just stand there swinging like Joshua Van did in the co-main. It's got to be more precise, and he did a good job. I think the game plan was absolutely perfect. As I said, he didn't throw many kicks at all. Usually he likes those teeps, but I think he saved it for the last sort of 20 seconds of the round where he knew if he got taken down, he still had the round. I thought it was just a perfect performance. His wrestling was so good. There were times where Khamzat had his back and you could see Strickland was dropping down and doing the reversals at the perfect time. And Yeah, it was really good from Strickland.
Yeah, I thought it was a phenomenal performance, and like, where would you?
I don't think Khamzat was bad either.
He was.
I wouldn't go as far
I
as
think
saying
he
he
was.
was bad, but he was far from the man we're used to seeing, wasn't he?
I thought he had some really. His wrestling looked really good. I know he got tired in the second round.
I don't think it did at all.
He had the second round. He had a few sloppy shots. He was tired. But I think the first round looked great. Even in the fifth round, his wrestling still looked good. I think Strickland just defended it well. I think they were both sort of just countering each other. And I thought on the feet, that was probably the best he's ever been, although that is a low bar.
Well, in that third round, that third round was the round. That third round was the round where it was on, the feet for the entire round. I don't think Khamzat got shown down once, and that was the round you could say, okay, maybe Khamzat did win that round because it was just, they were both striking each other. I don't think Sean really looked that impressive on his feet, even with Khamzat. I don't think, none of them really stood out to me. I'll be honest with you.
I think Sean clearly won the third round, though.
I don't know. I think it was closer than people say. I think the fifth round was what it came down to, right? I think most people are, saying, especially the judges.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the judges scored the same for the first 4 rounds, and 2 had it for Sean in the fifth, and 1 had it for Khamzat in the fifth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see how you can give Khamzat the fifth round either. He tried to get the takedowns, he couldn't get it to the floor, and then Strickland just beat him up.
He did get him to the floor though, for like.
No, a takedown. So if your knee hits the floor, that counts as a takedown. But that's not what Khamzat's trying to do. He wants you flat on the floor or you're on his back. He wouldn't have considered that successful.
About 2 minutes into the fifth, Khamzat did have all the control. He had Sean up against the fence. He did get him down, sort of. But it was all Khamzat. But that's not where he wanted him, though. He just decided to give up with it, and Sean just started jabbing his head off.
I don't think he gave up with it. I think Sean just out-wrestled him and he got him off. That's what it was. It wasn't... Even when he was getting Sean down to one knee, Sean was still wrestling back and getting up. I think...
if you're in that position, the fifth round of a fight, you keep shooting. If that's all you can do, you keep shooting.
But there's no point keep shooting because he can't get the takedown.
There's no point standing up and getting your head jabbed off.
Well, I think he thought he had a chance of winning on the feet, and Strickland definitely won the rounds where they stood up. But I think Khamzat, in his head, thought he had more chance of winning on the feet than he did of getting a takedown. And if he had kept going for takedowns, he'd have just got more and more tired. So he felt like he had to stand. And I don't think it was an absolute battering on the feet, but Strickland was definitely the better boxer, wasn't he?
No. Yeah, no,
it
wasn't a battering, but yeah.
What I'll say as well on the feet, because Khamzat had the takedown threat, Sean couldn't throw kicks, whereas Khamzat was throwing quite a few roundhouse kicks and kicks in general. So Khamzat did have that advantage as well, but yeah, Strickland won.
I mean, I do think it came down to the fifth round, and listen, some people did score it to Khamzat, some people did score it to Sean, but again, I don't think Khamzat did enough over the 5 rounds to win that fight. I think even if he did win that fight, people would have definitely been disappointed in Khamzat and said that performance was underwhelming. I don't know, you lot.
Yeah, but people are always going to say that. Whenever he has a competitive fight, people say that. But he's in there. Sean Strickland's a good fighter. He's not some like Can. As you've seen, Sean's a elite level fighter. So it's just like criticising his performance. I don't really agree with. I thought he looked alright. I thought Sean looked
compared
good.
to the odds were massively in Khamzat's favour, weren't they?
Yeah, but I think it was more Sean overperformed than anything.
I mean, he's done that a few times, to be honest. At the Sanya fight and this fight again now.
Yeah, well, I think, he's beat some good guys, hasn't he? He's a top-level guy. I think because of the way I say it a lot in football, there's a thing I call clown tax, where when someone's a bit of a clown, a bit of a joker, maybe they got an afro like David Luiz, people tend to underrate them a bit because they're a bit silly and a bit memeable. I think Sean Strickland suffers from that a bit because his style's a bit boring and because he's a guy who says stupid stuff. I think people think he's shit, but he's a great fighter.
Yeah, agreed. And what's next for Khamzat then?
Well, light heavyweight. I think that's confirmed. He said it himself. He's going up. I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch. I think it was a competitive fight, and maybe now because they sort of buried the hatchet with the beef, I think the rematch wouldn't have really worked. But I think light heavyweight's the move. You'll probably get a number 1 contender fight if he wins that title.
Obviously, there was talk before the fight that he was going to face Yuri Prohaska before Ulberg got the fight for the light heavyweight vacant title, and people were saying maybe that was something that affected him during the fight.
Definitely.
I could totally see, like you could see after the second round, the way he fought DDP, he didn't look tired at all compared to against Sean Strickland in the second round.
He's not going to look tired against DDP because DDP was just lying on his back the whole fight. Sean was wrestling back into him. It's so much more tiring when you've actually got a fight. When you're lying on top of someone, Khamzat could have done that for 7 hours and he'd have been fit. But when someone's wrestling back at you, that's exhausting.
I'd agree with you if Hamza gassed in the fourth or fifth, but he gassed in the second, bro. That's unforgivable.
Yeah, because the first round was 5 minutes of those two wrestling hard into each other. That's why.
Yeah, but before Hamza, pulled guard, was there any threat of Sean at all? There wasn't, was there? Not
But
at
he was
all.
tired. He was exhausted. He didn't want to stand with him.
Who, Hamza?
Yeah, well, that's why he pulled guard. He was on the floor and he was like, well, I might as well sit here and
Yeah,
hope he
exactly.
comes down.
Do you think the same thing would have happened in the DDP fight, though?
Well, he wasn't tired because DDP didn't wrestle back at him. DDP just
So
accepted.
do you think he was tired because of Sean entirely, or do you think it was something else that happened to him?
Well, it's because it was a competitive first. Well, not competitive.
It wasn't a
in terms of
competitive
scoring
first
wise.
round, was it?
No, not in terms of scoring. But Sean offered resistance. Sean was wrestling back. Drickers wasn't. He took Drickers down and held him down with ease. Sean was trying to get back up to his feet the whole time. He was trying to roll out of it and stuff like that. Khamzat won the round unquestionably, but he was every time Sean was constantly trying to get in better positions, and Khamzat was having to counter him, and that's very tiring. That's why he got tired.
Me personally, I would say that I'd put him more down to his weight cut. We see how horrible he looked on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, there's more than one reason for it. The wrestling's one, the weight cut's another. I think that was brutal, but I think the way he was fighting back definitely would have tired him out more.
He definitely did a little bit, yeah, but I'd put more of it down to the cut. Which again, listen, he said himself he doesn't want to fight at middleweight ever again. I think he's going to stay up to 205. But like Luke said, we are joined by Lenny. Lenny, any thoughts on the fight from last night?
Hello, gents. I was quite surprised, but looking back at it, I mean, we've seen Khamzat when he faces a little bit of adversity where he can't just take someone down and they just accept the position. He completely and utterly just blows his gas tank pretty much. We saw it against Gilbert Burns where he got dragged into a bit of a war.
Usman.
We saw against Usman, which if he hurt his hand or whatever, but doesn't matter. He still got really tired after that first round, and then we saw against Sean last night. And yeah, I do think there was I do think the whole thing like Joe Rogan said where he apparently moved up to about 210, 220 pounds and then had to cut it to make the make weight of fighting Sean. But I still think even if he didn't have to do that, okay, maybe it wouldn't be as much, but he hasn't got a gas tank. And I think a lot of people were fooled in the DDP fight and they were saying, oh, maybe he was just over training and that's why his gas tank hasn't been that great. But I think it's just simply down to that some guys just accept it when they get taken down by Khamzat. If you actually work him, you can actually get success and get him tired, and that's what Sean did.
Yeah. Well, wrestling it just in general is exhausting. So it's always going to, that style he has of just shooting takedowns over and over is exhausting, and that's why Merab's so effective, because he can do that for 25 minutes. But when you're a bigger guy like Khamzat, it's a lot harder.
Can we just say though, like, how desperate were those shots in the second?
Yeah,
awful,
he was
man.
gassed.
Oh, yeah. Awful.
Usually so much better. I think what I'll say though, talk about cardio. I think the second and third, he was knackered, but after the third, where he was standing the whole round, I thought fourth and fifth, he got his second win back. I'd say towards the end of the fight, I think he looked fresher than Strickland. I thought Strickland looked more tired in the fifth round. But Strickland's just the way he fights. Khamzat, as I said, his style uses a lot of energy. Sean could do his sort of jabbing and walk circling to the left. He could do that for an hour over and over. It's not very tiring. It's the wrestling which is tiring. But that's why Sean, he can fight when he's tired because his style doesn't require much energy at all.
That's what Craig said earlier. In the fifth round, I didn't see the urgency from Khamzat that I thought we were going to get in the fifth round. I had a 2-2 going into the fifth round, and I thought maybe Khamzat would do more to, actually secure the fight as a win. But I just didn't see that, man.
Yeah. Well, I think he just couldn't beat Strickland on the feet. He was just outmatched. That's just the way it is. He couldn't get the takedown. He tried to strike him. He couldn't win. That's it. Sometimes you just come up with a guy who's better than you on the night. That's life. And I think there's a lot. I've seen some people. I say some people. It's only really Khamzat fans. I've seen some people give him the last round. I don't see it at all. But I don't think Khamzat would have considered himself the winner for that fight either. So, yeah, I think Strickland was just a lot better than him on the night. And you can't just force a win sometimes.
What do you boys think about him saying to Dana White immediately that he's going straight up to 205?
We all knew that, didn't we? We know he's not going to fight middleweight again. That weight cut was dreadful. He looked awful in the fight, to be honest. And yeah, I can see 205 being his new home.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the perfect game plan for him was to beat Strickland, then go up. I thought, surely, like, that performance, you lose your belt. I thought he'd want to get it back, me.
Yeah, well, he's not going to get. So if he had a rematch with Sean, that'd obviously be an immediate title shot, wouldn't it? Whereas light heavyweight, he's probably not going to get that, even though the division's a bit of a mess. But I think he'll get a number one contender fight. So if he can't make middleweight and he can't perform there and he's not happy making the weight, he might as well go up to light heavyweight. He'll be getting paid either way. It'll probably be the co-main of the Abu Dhabi pay-per-view in October, and you'll get some big names.
If Khamzat did win this fight, I would give him the immediate title shot at 205. But obviously he lost it. So I think the most logical fight to make right now is Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, he was meant to fight before. Khamzat Chimaev against Paul Costa. I think that's the perfect fight to make.
I'd be fine with it because I think Costa's in a position where he's one win away from a title shot as well. He's a fairly well-known guy, and I think he'd have a cool build-up. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see him fight Jiri. I think Ankalaev they probably couldn't do because of Dagestan Chechnya sort of rivalry. Same for Azamat, but I think there's plenty of guys there. So yeah,
I think the main problem with that division right now is we don't know how long the champion is going to be out for. So if they do make Chimaev beat Costa, is that going to be for the interim light heavyweight title?
No, it maybe. I think it'd be a number one contender fight. They might make it an interim just because Khamzat's a big name. But if they needed like a pay-per-view main event, they might stick an interim title on it. But it's not for the real title. I'd say the problem with that division as well is you've got about 4 or 5 middleweights moving up to light heavyweights. So you've got a load of guys who aren't ranked in the division but are near the top without fighting there. I think RDR, Whitaker and Khamzat all going up there, Costa going up there. You've got a lot of names, so you've almost got like a top 20, not a top 15. It's a bit of a weird one. So it's very unclear, that division, and it's very unclear who's ranked where. A lot of guys who haven't won a fight in a while and stuff like that. So it's very messy. That's what
the top 3 fights in that division I'll make right now, well, the top 2 I'd say, is Chimaev against Costa and Yuri Prohaska against Ankalaev. I think the winner of Chimaev Costa gets Ulberg when he's fit. Idun like he was a bad leg injury, so maybe he's out for like 8-9 months. Probably the end of the year, I could see that him being back, or maybe even start next year. And then Jiri against Ankalaev is the other fight. I don't see. Has Whitaker got a fight? He has it?
Yeah, he's got one booked, but I don't think it's been announced yet. I think Ankalaev's got one booked as well, but I don't think they're fighting each other. I mean, I'll be honest. Yeah. I think there's so many moving parts and so many people, as I said, there's so many middleweights moving up. There's guys at the top. Like it's just there's too much going on to put it together and plan ahead. You just got to see what happens at the time. Really, I think Ankalaev and Whitaker will probably both fight someone in the summer. For Sean, though, the next fight is obvious. Is Imavov, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. 100%. Like, Khamzat was meant to face Imavov, and obviously he didn't want that fight. He wanted the Sean fight. And, yeah, I think Sean v. Imavov will probably happen later sometime this year, or maybe the start of next year. But, I mean, Imavov's already lost to Sean Strickland. Obviously, it was, different circumstances. Yeah. But I expect a much more competitive fight than last time, and I could definitely see Imavov winning, man.
They got a bit of beef as well.
Oh, yeah, they do.
I think as well, because Chris Curtis, his teammate, fought Imavov, and Imavov won, and then he started like pulling the middle finger or something to Strickland, and they fought before, so that'll be a good build-up. They're both strikers, it'll be a good fight. You'd expect Strickland to win that, but I do actually rate Imavov, so we'll see.
I do rate Imavov, but look, we've seen it, we've been there, done that, and it was on short notice. Yeah, it was short notice for both of them, really, when you think about it. So,
yeah, 205, wasn't it? Was it catch weight?
Yeah, 205.
I think it was catch weight. Or was it 205, like heavy?
205, I think it was, yeah.
I think so.
But regardless, I don't think that makes a difference to me, like skill-wise. I think, it's just not something I'm interested in.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a massive fight. It'll be a cool event just because it's Sean Strickland. He puts on a show, and that's the way he is, isn't he?
If Khamzat did, let's say he did win the title and he moved up, what would you make for the interim middleweight title then? If that obviously happened,
the same.
You probably have
DDP.
Fight.
Sean is Imavov. I don't think you give Sean that immediate fight.
You do DDP and Imavov, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and like you said, DDP is going to fight later this year. Usman.
Yeah, it's talks of Usman. I don't know. We'll see. We don't know what's happening yet. I think there's talks of him fighting Usman.
Also, you can tell DDP is gassed that Strickland won that fight. It makes his resume look much better, doesn't it? Like he beat Strickland twice, so he was gassed after that win.
I mean, to be honest, I think it makes him look bad because Khamzat beat him so easily. But the reason why he's happy is because Khamzat's out of the division now. Since his loss, his coach has basically come out.
I think that makes DDP look better, doesn't it? He beat Strickland twice.
No. He got he got annihilated by Khamzat, and his coach. They've been coming out saying like, "Oh, we're gonna build a whole team, and we're gonna do all this to get the rematch of Khamzat, and they're gonna fly in all these Chechnyans and spend a year developing a style." And now they can chuck all that in the bin, and he's got he can win the title. He knows now that he is the best middleweight again in the UFC now. Khamzat's gone.
So you think Strickland beating Khamzat made DDP's resume look worse?
But it's not even a case of whether it made his resume look better or worse. He's now without Khamzat being in the middleweight division, DDP is now the best middleweight. Whereas with Khamzat there, Khamzat's the best. But DDP knows he's better than Strickland. He's beat him twice, so he's buzzing that Khamzat's gone.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, but like fighters don't give a shit about like their Sean winning for his resume and all this stuff. They don't care.
DDP said after the fight. DDP goes after the fight. I'm the real champion in this division now. So you can tell he was gassed.
Yeah. Lost. Oh yeah, because he knows he's better than Strickland, or he knows he's beat him twice, and Khamzat's no longer in the division.
DDP fucking hit luck last night, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good night for him. I think it was a good night for all the middleweights because Khamzat was looking pretty ominous, and I didn't expect him to lose. Yeah. And now he's gone.
Before we move on to the okay, go on, Craig.
Like Luke said there, I think look, no matter his performance last night wasn't the greatest. Look, he's a nightmare matchup for 99.9% of middleweights. You know what I mean?
Strickland.
Oh,
yeah. No, Chimaev.
Chimaev. Yeah.
But even Strickland, right? Khamzat was a massive favourite in that fight for a reason. Even we say like Strickland's got the style to beat him. Everyone still expected Khamzat to win that. So I think Khamzat going's just completely opened up the division now. See, DDP could be champion, Imavov could be champion. There's so many guys now going to be looking at that and thinking they could be next.
Before we move on to the Coleman, which I thought was a really good fight, can we talk about the pre-match and post-match shenanigans, I'd like to say?
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing. I don't think it was great. I just think it displayed how much of a coward Sean Strickland is, saying stuff about religion. Listen, I don't care you abusing the other fighter, that's fine. But when you take it to religion and then you, after the fight, say, oh, it was all an act and, do this innocent gimmick, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it.
It's even worse when it's not an act as well. Like because he's a piece of shit. Like that's what he is. He gets carried away in these moments and he says what he truly feels. And then after, because for whatever reason, he wants to retain some fans. Because like I said before, with Strickland, it's all cool and all where he's cussing people and doing, but it's not that entertaining when it's every single fight. Like the fluffy stuff wasn't entertaining. He was just saying that ICE need to come get him and kick him out of the country. Like it's not funny. Chimaev, because there's a back and
so a lot of people did find it entertaining.
Yeah, because that's what that's what people that watch the company are like in America. Like that's the kind of like.
But it's not even people in America. I've had so many people, my friends, who don't give a shit about the UFC, who all messaging me about this fight, who never watch fighting. Some of them are religious, some aren't. All saying, "When's this fight? I want to watch this fight. Oh, I hope Strickland loses." It's brought so many eyes on the fight. It's done so.
Yeah, because he's fighting someone like Chimaev. That's what I'm saying. Like the fluffy fight, no casual fans watching that. I'm sorry. Like regardless of how many.
Too, but the point I'm making is all this build-up. It's brought so much attention. It's made them both so much money. Khamzat, I think himself, he's probably pretty happy with Strickland saying all this shit because he's probably not getting that offended. In the moment, sure, he probably does feel a bit disrespected, but he will take earning double the money to have Strickland say a few stupid insults, won't he?
Sure, whatever. I don't care about that, to be honest. But him bringing religion in is like kind of a low blow, to be honest.
I mean, he crossed the line. He definitely crossed the line. He always does. I think Khamzat probably crossed the line as well with a couple of comments, but I think that was more of a reaction to Sean. But that's just the way they are. They cross the line. They say stupid shit to get attention, get money, and that's just the way it is. I don't think the beef was really ever that bad. I think there was some animosity. I think they've clearly got some beef from the gym, but I think they both exaggerated it. And when you're fighting someone, tensions do sort of rise a bit. So I think the press conference was more that than sort of genuine beef. But yeah, I mean, I don't really think they ever hated each other as such.
And them touching gloves before the fight started, just oh my days!
You could have made a lot of money on that, by the way.
I did not want to see that.
They did.
And I think someone said it in the group chat yesterday. It just felt flat. Like there was no intensity, no rivalry, not that fight that we thought we were going to get in the fight.
Well, that was me. But the reason it felt flat wasn't because there was no rivalry. It's because of the fight. It was just a lot of these Sean fights. They're standing on the feet, like jabbing each other. It's not super high pace. It's very slow. And that's why it felt flat. It wasn't like with the Izzy fight where he had a few knockdowns and stuff like that. But
Sean's made a career of that. I can't lie. Sean's made a he has this front that he's a real man and he'll go to war because he's a real American man.
Yeah, he got his nose broke. Come on, it wasn't like he was.
Yeah, only because it's been broken before. Like he got his nose broke by a few jabs. Like it's not going to war.
Nah, but
again, I understand you've got to sell the fight. I get that, but the crowd was dead. But again,
yeah,
that's
it wasn't an exciting fight. But they
I
did
don't
have,
blame
like,
Strickland because at the end of the day you've got to sell it, right? I get that, and I'm not blaming anyone which way or form. But it's just like the fans just get kind of like thingied by it. Oh, yeah, Strickland's a real man. He's gonna go to war, and then we've seen him quote unquote go to war, and it's just knee up, teep, teep, strike, strike.
Yeah,
So I think
those
fans just need to realize what they're getting themselves into when Strickland fights.
Do you not think him and Khamzat both did take a lot of damage though? Both of them, they got jabbed quite a lot. They were, even though they weren't throwing massive shots and sort of swinging, they were both they basically just jabbing each other for 25 minutes. But
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they
no,
both
definitely.
looked like their faces were covered in blood. But yeah, what I was going to say is the glove touch, right? It was 92% on Polymarket. They wouldn't touch gloves. So people were paying 92p to get £1 back on bets. That's like the odds of them not touching gloves. So I don't know if they knew about this and placed some bets or something, but some people may have made a lot of money.
But I wouldn't be shocked. This whole like Polymarket and like cashy stuff is just like ridiculous.
It is when they're sponsoring fighters, it is a bit suspect. But yeah, I think betting is just so ingrained in the sport, especially in America. You can't get away from it. So I don't know. And the Brady Buckley was moving a lot as well. But yeah, so what about Strickland then for his legacy? What do you think of? What does this fight do for him in terms of?
I think it does a lot, but he needs some defenses. He needs defenses. You don't see many all-timers not have at least a couple of defenses. So
Conor McGregor. Zero
yeah,
defenses.
but again, I feel like he's regarded as an all-timer. Like
Regardless
a
of
lot of what the way he speaks and who he is, how much money he's made, how much eyes, and how much eyes he brought to the sport, and the way he acted and the fans he brought, more so than just if you strip away everything to do with Conor, but just look at what he did in the UFC, he wouldn't probably get a top 15 fight at that, which a lot of people do put him in.
Well, no, I think with Conor, it's more of just his. Was it up to 2016 in that sort of period when he's actually in the cage, his skill level is super high. He wasn't active enough. I think that was his problem. Where Strickland has been active, he just hasn't. He's never really got that dominant run. He's not dominated a division like we thought.
In my opinion, if he beats Imavov and avenges his loss from DDP, there are some conversations to be had about his legacy.
Definitely.
Of course, but that's a big if. You're talking about a fighter he's lost to twice.
Who I'd say beat him the first time. I don't know how you guys scored it, but I had Sean beating DDP.
It was a close fight.
I had DDP winning.
I had DDP winning, but it was a close fight. And I think because he's got the belt now,
having 2 wins over Imavov is really impressive because everyone regards Imavov as like a top 2-3 fighter in that division, don't we?
I don't know. He's a good fighter, but I don't think when he beat him, he wasn't really ranked near the top, was he? I think he was in the top 15, but he wasn't seen as this top contender. I think Imavov, the same with Fluffy, they're not quite on that title level win when he beat them. But Khamzat and Izzy are 2 great wins because he did it as a big underdog as well. It wasn't like he beat some old guys when they were past their best. He beat them when they were champion. Izzy was a bit past his best and Khamzat whatever with his weight cut. But
do you think this?
What would you say is the more impressive win, Adesanya or Khamzat? I'm saying Khamzat.
I think so. Izzy was more dominating. He beat Izzy better, but I think Khamzat, just because of the style and because of how ruthless Izzy had just been knocked out by Alex. He didn't look particularly great in the rematch. He looked beatable. As Khamzat, I think all of us predicted him to end the year as middleweight champion. He's not even going to end the year as a middleweight. So, I don't think anyone saw this come in. None of us predicted it. All in the preview said he'd get destroyed. So I think this is the better win.
I would completely agree with that. Any of you guys are worried about? Not worried, but about this Strickland nose?
No.
What about it?
Because it keeps getting broken.
Every fight it seems like it.
Bro, it got broken quite early against DDP, and that pretty much lost him the fight. Like as soon as he could, the breathing slowed down and the mouth breathing, and then like even in this fight, like if he was fighting a better striker, because the fight, although Strickland won, a lot of people had it 3-2 either way, right? Which I at first had it 3-2 Chimaev, but I watched back the two closest rounds, which would have been 3 and 5, right? Because I think
Yeah.
1 and 4 for Chimaev was
3 and 5
easy,
were
and
close
2
ones,
and
Two and
yeah.
3-4 Strickland, yeah.
But I then gave it to Strickland.
Yeah.
But even then, it was a close fight. I think if he faces a few other strikers, they could not target it, because you can't really target a broken nose. Because I mean,
He said
it's
his
just,
nose was fine though after. He said his
was it?
cardio
Oh,
was
okay,
fine.
fair enough then.
But I think he might have broke it or whatever, but he said it didn't impact his performance.
Fair enough.
But yeah, man, and we spoke about Strickland for about Khamzat for about half an hour, so I think it's time we move on to the co-main event.
Oh,
In
I
my
was so
opinion, the
sad.
best fight on the main card. It might be the best fight on the whole card, to be honest.
It got
Joshua
fight of the
Van
night, yeah.
knocks out Taira in the 5th round to regain his flyweight championship. Again, I did not expect this. I expected Taira to win. And yeah, man, I thought it was a really good fight. First round, I think Taira did really well. Just kept taking him down relentlessly. But Joshua Van, to his credit, kept getting back up. And I don't know if it's the second or third round where Joshua Van just turned the on, man. His striker was so much better than Taira's. Taira couldn't deal with him. All Taira's takedowns looked so choreographed, like you could tell every time he was going to shoot, and obviously Van did read that quite easily. And yeah, man, I thought Joshua Van looked really, really impressive, and he just gets better and better, man.
Yeah, he got the win. I thought he showed some vulnerabilities with on the floor, but his boxing's phenomenal. And I think
Well,
his
yeah, I
little
mean,
fights.
we all knew he was gonna, not look as good on the ground as Taira, but the way he kept getting back up and boxing Taira's head off was amazing.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I mean, when you're 125 pounds, you're just going to be rapid. Your hands, you can put combos together that quick. So he looked good, yeah, and he got a good finish, landed some good shots. I think, given his age, given his personality, given his fight style, I think he could maybe be someone which brings a bit more attention to the flyweight division. I think maybe it's just me, but since he's become champ, he's tried to be the bad guy, and I don't think it's really worked. Usually, I like the bad guys, but he's just come across a bit not a
He'll
knob.
work against Pantoja. He'll 100% work against Pantoja.
What, selling the
Right
fight?
now, him being the bad guy will work against Pantoja.
Yeah, but I just don't think anyone cares. He doesn't work. He just comes across a bit like when Strickland is the bad guy and Colby, they have that charisma and energy, and they're saying, like, when they say the stuff, they say it like they're standing up and shouting. Van just sort of sits there.
When there's a bad guy who can back you up with his fighting, I'm more moved by that than a guy who just talks shit for no reason.
What do you mean?
And also
Oh,
the difference between a Colby and a Sean, like there is some glaring big differences why these guys have a big fan base, because they gravitate towards the real American crowd. Like
exactly.
Van isn't
Yeah, but
going
I
to do
think-
that.
No, but I think the same sort of people would go towards Van. I quite like when people are like that. I don't really care if they're like American or not. I know Van sort of, he kind of isn't. He chooses not to rep them. But I think it's more about the personality of just not giving a fuck and saying outlandish shit. I think that's what people like. It's the people who just aren't.
Yeah, some people aren't just
PR.
willing to. Some people just aren't willing to slag down other people's countries or religions or anything like that. But
It's not even
moving,
that. It's like with Tyson Fury. It's just people who just aren't. They're like the opposite of PR. They go out their way and just be as crazy as possible. That's what people like. They're like people being
Yeah.
free.
I was
But
very
I'm thinking about
impressed
Joshua
with
Aldo.
Van.
I think him being this cocky, doing this cocky gimmick, I'm fine with it because he backs it up when he fights. Unlike a guy like Colby, when has he ever won a fight after being cocky? Never. He's never
Like
put it
beat, was it Tyron Woodley beat?
Tyron Woodley, who was washed.
He beat the Masvidal build-up was
Masvidal
probably
again.
his worst
I mean,
build-up.
in his big fights against Usman, he's
Masvidal was a pay-per-view main event, and that was
yeah.
massive.
But Masvidal was coming off 2-3 losses. He's not like he was in some great form. He lost.
Yeah,
to
but that was
Usman
like
fight,
that was probably one of his biggest fights, and it was the worst beef he ever had. I think he unquestionably backed it up then. But he lost to Usman and Leon too. But that's it. I think Colby, again, he's a great fighter, same way Van and Sean are.
I don't think Colby's a great fighter. I think he's one of the most overrated fighters we've seen in the generation.
The guy fought for a title like 4 times, didn't he?
And how many times did he win the title?
He won the interim title, and he lost 2 or 3 undisputed fights. You can't say someone who's fought for a UFC title isn't a great fighter.
You can definitely. Would you say Rodriguez is a great fighter?
Has he fought for title 3 times?
Once against Volk. Would you say?
Yeah, so not 3 times.
Okay, well, he lost twice, and then he lost to Leon, and then he lost to Buckley.
Yeah, but the point is, if you're at the top of the division and you're getting
Yeah.
3 title fights, that shows you're at a level if you're consistently
No,
at
it
the
just
top.
it just shows that the UFC are willing to give him a title shot because he's a good personality for the UFC. It doesn't mean he's a good fighter.
Well, who's he beat? He beat Tyron Woodley. Did he beat Robbie Lawler as well?
Would you see Paddy's a good fighter? I wouldn't.
No, Paddy hasn't fought for 3 undisputed titles.
Oh,
He
okay,
hasn't
no,
fought for
you
one.
were saying guy who are like ranked at the top. Would you say Paddy's a good fighter?
Paddy isn't
He's
in the
top
same
of the
position as
chart.
Colby. I'd say Paddy's ranked as if he's a good fighter, but I don't think he's got the skill level. But Paddy's not fought at the level Colby has. That's completely different.
I just don't
Paddy's
think.
fought for 1 interim title.
I think Colby's one of the most overrated fighters of our generation. I'll go with that.
Nah, I think he's effective. I think he's got the same sort of thing as Merab, where he doesn't look good, but it's effective.
Oh,
Merab's obviously got
Merab's a
wins.
much better fighter than Colby. It's not
Merab's
even
got
a
the better. No, I
comparison.
agree. Merab's beaten much better people. And he's got the win, but it's that same sort of style where you watch it and you go, he's not that good.
What is Colby's best win? I just want to know.
I think Masvidal's up there. I think Tyron Woodley's probably up there.
And Masvidal that was coming off 2-3 losses. It says it all.
It was still a good win. He beat Woodley? Who was at the time.
Yeah, I
champion
mean,
not long ago.
I understand he's had 3 undisputed title fights, right? But then when you turn around and be like, well, his best win leading up to those title fights is a quote unquote washed Masvidal.
No, well, that was after the title fights, but he beat Woodley. He beat RDA. He beat Maya.
RDA was a good win.
Yeah, he beat Maya. He beat Robbie Lawler. He's beat quite a few champions there. He's not a muck.
They were all, apart from maybe RDA, they were all past the best.
All definitely past the prime, yeah.
Yeah, but
Woodley,
these are still
Masvidal, all past the prime.
these are still top guys and former champions he's beat. But either way, there's no point sitting discussing this. This isn't relevant to the video. But
yeah, going to back to Van versus Taira. Yeah, I mean, same as Danny. I thought Taira would be able to get him down and keep him down, and that was obviously the biggest issue that he faced. He was getting him in top mount, and he just was exploding every time. And Van is really good at getting up. I remember against, I think it was Roy Val, he just kept getting up, and he's very good at it. But yeah, I was quite surprised by Taira. I honestly thought he would be able to keep him down and threaten him with submissions. And then when it got to the feet, I thought maybe Van would be a little bit more careful with his strikes. But I mean, that's how you know when someone's so good, where the threat of the takedown doesn't stop them from throwing. And I understand they're smaller guys, which means they can take more risks because they're much faster. But even still, like, I was speaking to my mate earlier today, and I was talking to him, I was like, this might be an outlandish take. Like, is he one of the most impressive MMA fighters we've seen ever? Because he's been training MMA for 5 years and he's a world champion.
Yeah, it's impressive he's done that, but are you talking about impressive in terms of his skill level or impressive given the circumstance?
Yeah, given the circumstance, I'm not saying his ability is like one of the best ever, but I feel like, and I understand Demetrius Johnson said it's one of the easiest sports to become a world champion and blah, 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 but like, he's been training MMA for 5 years, and his boxing, the way he can get up after being taken down, I don't know, man, he's really, really good. Although the Pantoja fight could get a bit spooky because, I mean, he's getting taken down a little too easy, but
training MMA. But do you think that flyweight's one of the easier divisions to win a title in?
Again, it all depends who's champion at the time.
Luke,
because it's not easy right now.
What's your basis of saying it's easy to win a title at flyweight?
Well, how many people do you know can get down to 125 pounds?
I mean, there's a lot of UFC right now, about
34.
Like, how many people in general do you know, like in life?
Thousands of boxers that fight between like 114 and 122, 122.
Yeah, and you got to realize we're not like the market for these guys. Yeah, in Britain, you go to Japan, you go to like Mexico, you would find so many guys at 125 that could fight.
Boxing, but
no, I know, but you get what I'm saying.
The point I'm making is there's very few people that size who can make that size. That's the reason why it's a generally quite thin division. And it's a bit easier than a bantamweight, even though it's only 10 pounds heavier.
Because they probably moved into boxing more so.
The Van Taira fight, because I missed it. I did say in the preview show, I said I wasn't that, looking forward. I wasn't really bothered about this fight, but oh my god, it was a fantastic fight, wasn't it, lads?
Yeah,
it was great.
Amazing.
Yeah, flyweights are just good fun, aren't they? It's like one championship.
Start to finish, entertainment.
Yeah, they just swing at each other, don't they? And there's usually a lot of strikers as well at flyweight, usually quite quick, so they're good to watch. What else do we want to talk about on the card quick before we wrap up? I think Volkov got a good win. I think we all kind of expect him to win on points. Amazov looked good. Gautier got a knockout. Was there anything which stood out really?
That Amazov takedown into submission was beautiful.
Oh, that
Man.
was amazing. Also,
That was
Yeah, I
so sick.
He's a top guy, and he'll probably be fighting for a title one day.
how did you guys score the Volkov fight? How did Chuma Volkov?
Yeah, he won that.
Yeah, same.
It's like we said he would. It's the same as the Pavlovich fight. He's just so tall for a heavyweight, and it's just you can't. He's 6'7". As I said, there's not many people
So hard to
125
close
pounds.
distance on him.
Yeah,
Yeah, Waldo
when he
did
uses-
tag him a few times and did do a bit of damage, but again, his reach is insane that he can just point score him from the outside quite easily.
yeah, those inside leg kicks can really cover a lot of distance. And as I said with the flyweights, there's not many people 125 pounds. There's not many people who are 6'7". So just being 6'7" and that big in a fighter, you're at such an advantage. And I think the heavyweight division.
What is next for Volkov?
Well, I don't know. Maybe Hockett if Hockett beats Lewis. But as I was about to say, the heavyweight division there is quite a few guys now at the top, so it's getting a bit tasty. I think if Hockett beats Lewis,
they're going to try and push this Hockett guy into the title fight. They are,
and he'll get battered, and we'll all of it. So, no problem.
Well, I think the winner of Garn and Pereira will fight Tom towards the end of the year, won't they? I think you could do Volkov v Hockett towards the end of the year, and then do the winner after. But we'll see.
Another fight I want to talk about, how badly Buckley got battered by Sean Brady. This was one hell of a beating. Luke, how much did you lose on Buckley?
Like 20 quid.
You for some reason seen the last move, you were like, yeah, bro, Brady's got injury, Buckley's gonna win this. And Brady
that's something which happens quite a lot in gambling where stuff gets leaked, and I've made a lot of money over the years.
What was actually leaked both from the line moving? Were there any rumors of him injured?
Well, people were saying he was injured, but I think what happened was the line just started moving, and then because the line was moving, people made up rumors, and then it moved it even more. I don't really know, but when lines move like that in gambling, if you can jump on them before they move even more, you usually do get good value, and that's something I've done a lot and made money from. So I don't really regret losing 20 quid. But
I mean, Brady was really impressive.
I said it. Brady's phenomenal. He really is. I think he's had a couple losses to top guys, but he's a top fighter as well.
Yeah, Brady's really good. I feel like he doesn't get the credit he deserves because there is that one loss which is very glaring and very embarrassing to get finished by Bilal standing up. So I feel like a lot of people be like, "Oh, he got beat by him, striking like." But
it was a long time ago, though, wasn't it?
Brady's striking.
I think it was 2021. I think.
22,
No, it's not great, but I feel like it's enough. It's enough, almost like a.
Yeah.
Don't know to compare it to, but like it's just good enough to where he can mix it up and mix it well to get him wins. But
against a striker, he'll just take them down like he did with Leon.
With
the right matchups, he could fight for a title, but I think it's such a stacked division, and he's not the most marketable guy. I don't see them doing that for him.
Who would you give him next?
Amazov. I think that's the fight to make.
But obviously they were meant to do JGM against Brady before that got cancelled. Would you run that back again?
Nah. Unless
why not?
Because Brady would win that. I don't think they. I think Brady's not a guy they'd want winning. I think they'd rather use him.
I think Brady versus Amosov is really interesting.
Yeah, I think that'd be
I like that.
Fight.
And for Buckley, it should be Buckley versus Leon if they're not just both fucking leaving.
Also, I'm glad Amosov just shut this rumor down of him being a boring fighter because he's not a boring fighter.
You know what? Am I crazy for saying Leon takes Buckley down and subs him?
I don't know.
Buckley's awful, yeah.
What I'll say about Brady, right? I don't like tattoos, but his tattoos, other than the one on his back, pretty cool. Like the one he's got on his legs, I think.
Isn't his back tattoo similar to Volkov's? I remember watching that fight and I watched the next fight and I was like, hold on. They look very similar.
I'm not a fan of those, but the rest of his tattoos are pretty cool. I like them.
Yeah. They suit him.
Bro, we need to send Buckley Dagestan for like 6-7 years, bro. His wrestling was diabolical.
Bro, he took 18 months off after that Usman fight, man. 18 months just to train grappling.
And he wanted Islam, bro. He said, yeah, give me Islam, bro. You would have got battered so hard.
Yeah, well, he's not fighting for title, is he? Is there anything you want to say? I think Taira Gautier, give a quick shout out to him. He got the knockout as well. So I predicted him to be the breakout fighter of the year, which probably isn't.
We were all saying that he did need, some kind of big performance after his last underwhelming performance.
Mate, you know what? With the Taira, I can't get behind the hype, man. I can't.
He's still young though, isn't he? Really young.
Yeah, I thought he looked a bit better.
He's very
as well.
young, but as well, he's like, it kind of reminds me of Francis in the way he's so simple, but he's got so much power.
His striking, I think, is actually okay though. It's getting better for sure.
It's very basic though, isn't it, Luke? Let's be real.
His fight on the January card I thought was very basic. I think this one he added a bit more. He threw a few more kicks, but he's not a top technical guy. He's just a powerhouse.
And he called out Adesanya, which is
Well, I think he'd win that. I honestly do.
No, he wasn't.
No, I think he does. Because it'd be like
well, he knocks out Adesanya.
Yeah, because I think he'd just catch him eventually. I think
He's not. I don't. Izzy is washed, but I still don't think a table is good enough to get in their pockets.
No.
The thing is, right? I kind of agree with Luke. I feel like it would go the same way every Izzy fight recently has gone. Izzy starts well. You're like, oh man, Izzy still looks good. Like even though he's lost 3 or 4 in a row, and then he'll put himself in harm's way, put himself in a bad decision, stay on the cage too long, and just get caught and get finished.
I still can't get how stupid he fought against Pfeiffer. It's stupid. I don't.
Well, but what are you supposed to do if you can't take a shot and you're fighting guys who are throwing lots of hard shots? There's just nothing you can do. You can't dodge every punch for 25 minutes.
And his head movement has just got worse and worse as he's got older. He's just not as fast as he was.
That's normal. He's got old. He's got slow. I think if they're going to do a card in South Africa with Usman and DDP, I think that would be a great co-main event. Izzy via Taira. I think a Taira would win, but I think that would be pushing him a bit too fast because then he'd be in the top 10, and I don't think he's ready for that yet. But yeah, I think he's got a massive future at Taira given his age, definitely.
And obviously, the card opened with King Green getting the win over Stevens, which we all pretty much expected.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting his Rocky custom shorts, so like.
It's his post-fight interview. He was like, "Give me a bonus," and they rewarded him with some shorts. I'm sure he's glad with that. I'm sure he's happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, those shorts, they're pretty cool, so I'll be happy with them.
Are they? You take them over money, yeah?
Not quite 50 grand, but...
I think the UFC have been very generous to him there.
But the shorts are
What was that?
Yeah, I think for the bonuses, they should be more generous and give out more, but for pay-per-views, I don't think they should give out the same amount for Apex cards as they do pay-per-views. But
what are the bonuses?
They're back down to 50k now. This one was 50k, yeah.
I'm pretty sure they said after Paramount, they're all 100k, and then 50k.
Yeah, this one was 50k, yeah.
Is it confirmed they're 50k, or did Dana just misspeak?
I seen on the graphics say 50k. I don't know if that's
confirmed.
I've seen.
I don't know.
Graphic, yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe the graphic was wrong, but I thought it was 100k. But I think it should be more for pay-per-views for sure. Because some guy on the Apex fighting like on the main card, they shouldn't get the same as a pay-per-view.
It should be 50 for the Apex and 100 for pay-per-view, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, final thoughts on the fight. I think, the event. Yeah, good, really good event. I enjoyed it. I think Strickland winning was a great moment for the UFC. The fight wasn't super exciting, but it's opened a lot of doors. It's entertaining, brought a whole new bunch of guys watching the UFC. I think we're in for some big fights and more big events, and it is really exciting time. So I think it's really good.
Yeah, that was a good card. Not anything great like we've seen in the Yoba card, but yeah, fun card. I had a great time watching game. And yeah, man, we've got obviously the White House card. That's the next card, isn't it? Next big card.
Yeah. Next big
one, yeah. Next one is Allen versus Costa.
Good fight.
I'll be watching the MVP card instead.
I'll be watching both.
Yeah.
But we'll discuss that in the next MMA video.
You call it, I forgot what I was going to say or something. You guys want to wrap up? Craig, Lenny, say anything before we wrap up?
I'll just say something quick about the channel. This is obviously my first video on the new channel. Comment Council.
Part-timer. He hasn't done the intro. He just came for the first video. Look at this part-timer.
Yeah. Obviously, without me, the intro is absolutely terrible. No one watched. How many views? 150 is not bad, actually. But Combat Council been going for a while. Been too big.
You're
for
such
too
a knobhead,
Luke. Yeah, Combat Council outgrown Mission Podcast. I think it's gonna overtake Mission Podcast.
He has 90 subscribers, Luke. Let's push the.
It's gonna overtake Mission Podcast in days. It is the #1 channel in the world. So we made it our own channel. Yeah, it's good. It's exciting. I think it's the right move. We've got our own little logo and stuff, and we can separate the content. So yeah,
no,
it'll be good. Talk about. Yeah, go on, Craig.
The viewers is look, even though I don't think a single one of us got the predictions right for the pay-per-view, I think we deserve to subscribe. I know, just out of pity.
Yeah. And we have got some big videos.
What I was going to say that I remember now was we got no international Fight Week announcement. I thought we were going to get the Conor announcement, Conor v Max, and we didn't get that. So I'm looking.
Surely they don't wait until the White House, right? Till like a month later. Like, surely not. That's too early, right?
Like 4 weeks or something.
I mean, too late. Sorry.
Yeah.
They'll do it in the next couple of weeks. Just wait till it's like properly signed and done.
But yeah,
we've got, as I was about to say, we've got a couple of good videos planned coming up. We've got a good interview with a special guest I won't name. So
don't spoil it.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I won't name them, mate.
Yeah.
And yeah, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for listening, and goodbye. Put me on, okay? Right, yeah.
Well, yeah, man. We'll see you next time.